Good morning, students. So today we will start with a chapter in English. The name of the chapter is A Book Review. Now, what is a book review? A book review is nothing but the views of the reader about a certain book read. A reader judges the book on its content and style and gives its views about the book. A review may be very short or may be very lengthy. Viewers read the review and decide whether they have to purchase the book or not. If you also want to buy a product from Flipkart or from any other app or from any other site, so first what do? First, before buying the product, we see the reviews of the people, and then we select the product. Select the product to buy. If they like the review, they will buy it. So, review is just a summary of the content of the book, wherein the end part is left for a curiosity in the reader. So, this book is reviewed in the name of the book is George's Secret Key to the Universe. So, there's one example given over here. There's a story. And there is Lucy Hawking and Stephen Hawking. So Lucy Hawking is the daughter of Stephen Hawking. Lucy Hawking is the English journalist, novelist, science educator, and Stephen Hawking was a British scientist. He was a professor and author also who performed physics. Okay, so now we'll read this story, we'll read this book. Okay, a small part is given. George's dad is an ardent environmentalist. In fact, both his parents are convinced that modern inventions of science and technology have caused a lot of damage on the earth. They are committed to the cause of saving the planet. So, George's dad, what they want to do, they want to save the planet. They use a bicycle instead of a car. So, they don't want to use fuel. So, they use a bicycle instead. There is a ban on TV and computers in their house. So, they don't watch TV nor they use computers. They don't buy things like bread and biscuits. They eat only vegetarian and home cooked food. They even use candles to light the house to avoid using electricity. So, see what all different things they use. They avoid using electricity, instead, they on the candles. Poor George has to suffer a lot of jeering and ridicule from his friends because of all this. So George did not like this, but George's parents used to do all these things, but he did not like it. Actually, George doesn't think that either the TV or the computer is a bad thing. So George is saying that a computer, watching a TV or being on a computer is not a bad thing. He has tried to tell his parents that it's possible to save the earth using the computer and the internet. Okay, he tried telling his parents that there is no thing like that, that you if you use computer then we are harming the earth. But no, in their house there can't be any decision on that issue. And so no one listens to George about it. George always likes to know why, but who is to answer his question? His parents think that he is still too young to understand global issues. So, George keeps telling his parents that it's not right like that. We must watch TV, we must be on computers, we must use electricity. But George's parents does not listen to him. They think that he's too young to understand all these things. Let's see further. One day, however, George unexpectedly acquires a new friend and a next door neighbor. So, once George meets his neighbor, Annie. Annie's father, Eric, is a brilliant scientist and ever willing to answer all of George's questions. So, whatever question George asks his neighbor, the neighbor answers because his parents does not answer his questions. So he asks the questions to his neighbors. Eric has built a super intelligent computer named Cosmos. Cosmos has incredible powers. It can literally open windows on the universe and take you to any planet, star, comet, and even to a black hole. And of course, Cosmos can also bring you back from there. So this Annie's father, that is Eric, he had built a supercomputer, and by this computer it had lot of powers. It could open windows, you could be taken to a planet, to a star, okay, and of course you could come back from that also. However, Cosmos depends entirely on the information that is fed into it by people like Eric who do the research and thinking that can make Cosmos work. Science can be used for a good cause, and a group of good scientists like Eric have vowed to use it for people's welfare. So Eric is a scientist. So he uses scientists for the good of people. Unfortunately, there is one odd angry scientist who wants to use science for his own selfish motives. So there is one selfish scientist who wants to use science for his own things. He doesn't want to for the people's good. He does not want to see people's good. He is planning to steal Cosmos and all of Eric's research so that he can establish his own rule on another planet. So the selfish scientist, what he wanted to do, he wanted to rob, he wanted to steal that Cosmos which Eric had made. Okay, it so happened that only George can do something to overcome the wicked plans of this nasty scientist. Only George could do something of it. Because if George tells his parents does not listen to him. If you want to know what adventures he undertakes and what strategies he has to use to stop the power-hungry scientist, you have to read the novel George's Secret Key to the Universe. You want to know more about it? This is a half story given about it. If you want to know more about this book, you can read this book, that is George's Secret's Key to the Universe. Okay, so this was just a small review. Now further, let's see about the authors. The author of this wonderful adventure is Lucy Hawking. The story of the novel is imaginary, but it also includes plenty of charts, photographs, boxes that give you hard facts about our solar system. Now in this novel, it's not a boring novel. The novel even has photographs in it, okay, so that it can look interesting. This information has been presented in a very simple, easy to understand manner by none other than Stephen Hawking. So the language is very easy to understand of this novel, who is said to be one of the greatest scientists of our times. His achievements are all the more astounding as he is a victim of many physical ailments. He had to use a wheelchair to move about and use a computerized voice system in order to speak. So this Stephen Hawking, he had many physical problems also. The story of Stephen Hawking's triumph over his physical disabilities is itself an inspiring adventure. Although Stephen Hawking was on a wheelchair, then too he was a great scientist. This book includes very attractive and expressive sketches drawn by Gary Parsons. So there are sketches also in this book available. It is through that the excessive use of science and technology can give rise to certain problems. If we go on using it a lot, it can lead to some problems. But turning away from technology is not the solution. So you can't just turn away from technology because we need it. That is why the Hawkings have given an important message in this book. More research, more studies, and a commitment to use them not for selfish gain but the welfare of the entire living world. So, what Hawking says, that you do more research, you study about more, you do for the welfare of the people, then it will be good for us and the people living in this world. Okay, so here we end with this lesson. We will learn another lesson in the next video. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.